Hey Ramblers, before we kick off today's episode, I just want you to know that we're finally ready to launch OffSource and it's going to be in October. The team is working tirelessly and endlessly to bring you an amazing product and service. So if you know anyone that needs a virtual assistant or just like to make some extra money for our referral program, tell them to head to offsource.tech or text info to 516-408-2427. Make sure you're following us across all social media at OffSourceHQ. Now let's get ready to ramble. Before we begin, a moment from our sponsor. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Ramblings. I'm your host, Angelo Roberts, and I have some very amazing co-hosts today. I'd like to introduce to you guys Linda Ray and Trevor. They're from Aurora Consulting and they're commercial financing brokers. We've connected over the past couple of months. We met actually at a marketing at Microsoft. There was a networking event going on. So we had the opportunity to connect there and we've kind of maintained connection through LinkedIn. So introduce yourself, guys. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and who Linda, Ray, Trevor, and Aurora Consulting, what they are and what they do.
Thank you, Angelo, for having us. I love the name of your podcast, Ramblings, and I think we could probably live up to the name today with the two of us. So my name is Linda Ray. Our company is Aurora Consulting. We are commercial financing brokers. And I have 30 plus years experience in the insurance industry where I have been on all sides of the insurance industry. I owned an agency, I've been an underwriter, etc. And I sold my interest in the company and moved on to exercise my entrepreneurial spirit. So we started a commercial financing brokerage, which Trevor will get into. And, I do a little bit of marketing for insurance brokers on the side as well. And you, sir?
I'm Trevor, and I'm also Batman.
You can't see his t-shirt.
And I just found the connecting cable for the good microphone, because that's how I roll. I just retired from a 30-year career in mortgage banking. My specialty was making dreams come true for first-time buyers. And I excelled at that, especially because I literally do not take no for an answer, which is also how I wound up sitting next to this gorgeous girl here, because she did say no. Not that we're married, but she tried to get rid of me.
Not married.
Early days, and I just don't take no for an answer. So that attitude got me into a lot of arguments. Occasionally, a chair would fly across manager's office. I am also Scottish, so there's a certain aspect of the Scottish Highland barbarian into how I do things. All right, laddie, we're gonna approve this bloody loan. And I'll throw this bloody chair at your head.
True story.
And I really accomplished a lot in my 30-year career. A lot of people who said, you cannot put me in a house. And I loved proving them wrong time and time again, whether their issue was credit, whether their issue was not enough money for down payment or closing costs or income. I used the underwriting guidelines in their favor to work for them so that they could get the loan. And so I retired October 2018 and we started
Halloween,
literally October 31st.
Ooh. Yeah, scary prospect.
I was going to say, scary opportunity right there.
At
Transition.
5:06 p.m., sent my resignation email.
It was a big day.
And short and to the point, I'm out, and surrendered my mortgage loan originator license to the state of New York banking department an hour later. And we launched Aurora Consulting in December of 2018. And our first objective, based on my experience, was to identify lenders who had the same chutzpah, the same positive energy about making a loan happen, whether they were a traditional lender like a commercial bank or a savings bank or a community bank or a portfolio lender. We identified those lenders, and then we also had to work with somebody internally who had the same attitude that we had, which is we're here to make deals happen.
I think too, but the thing is that was our goal, but the inspiration was a neighbor who went to his local bank who needed $500,000 to buy another company.
So we moved to Roxbury, Connecticut in 2016.
Yes.
And this neighbor was our first friend. We met on the roadway in front of our house. We live on a country road. We live in a town with no traffic lights, either 8 or 9 stop signs. And
I'm not familiar with Roxbury, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Nobody is.
Arthur Miller lived here with Marilyn Monroe. Yeah,
Wow.
when they first got married back in the 50s. And he died here. He's buried here in Roxbury.
So we met this neighbor, and some months later they invited us over for dinner, and we walked over to their house, and he relayed this story.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for
I just provided some context to the.
Yeah, well, okay. So anyway, he needed $500,000 to buy another company, and he went to his local bank and he did the whole process with the applications and the appraisal and the fees and waited for 3 months. And then the banker came back and said, "Good news, you're approved. 50,000." And he was like, "I can't do anything with 50,000.
You left off at zero.
He left off at zero. So he ended up getting money elsewhere and did the deal. But we kind of thought, I bet you there are more people out there that aren't getting the money they need from the lenders they know.
Well, he said, you left off at zero, and he hung up the phone. And being a business owner, business owners are going to keep going until they get the answer they need, because they're interested in doing one thing, earning a profit and growing their business. So like any self-respecting business owner, he made some inquiries and he borrowed money from an attorney, and it's what's called hard money. So it's a substantially higher interest rate than what he would have paid at his bank. So that evening after dinner, we walked home in the dark on our little country lane, which was
the foxes, the
very
bears,
interesting because she's from Westchester County, which from where I come from in the city.
That's the country.
She's from the country. I'm from the city. I mean, to me, there were like 4 trees in the entire neighborhood, So walking home on a dark country lane was an interesting experience. But that was our first time doing it, and that's when we hit on this idea. We said to each other, there are many, many business owners like this fellow out there who think that they can't qualify going into a bank, so they'll go to the hard money sources. They'll pay more, or they'll bring in relatives and or equity investors. They'll do all the other things that are not necessarily good for their business in terms of cost or in terms of bringing in people who are going to impinge on the decision making. And then business owners who, have the relationship already and think that their banker is their best friend. And we know from her and Linda's experience as an insurance broker and my experience as a mortgage banker that there are many other ways to finance at reasonable terms. And it's really a matter of what we used to say in the mortgage business of working the deal.
Well, also Trevor, he always aspired to work with business owners, but his primary was residential. And I, with insurance, my main thing was commercial lines. So I loved working with business owners, ambitious business owners who were growing and needed more insurance because they were growing. And I just loved that. And anyway, so that's when we decided we were going to get into the business financing and specifically brokering, because I've been a broker for 20 years. So I kind of have always liked having options for people when they need solutions. Anyway, so that was the longest introduction ever.
Yes, but absolutely wonderful. So that, I guess, brings me to a wonderful question I have for you guys. You guys have been in the finance industry, insurance and everything for years. Decades. What prompted, even as a child, like, is this something that you knew as a youth going in, like, hey, I want to be in finance and insurance, or did you want to be like a firefighter? What was the youth dream?
Oh gosh, you know what? I wanted to travel, which isn't a job, but I guess it is a job for some people. But I love to travel. I wanted to travel and figure out a way to travel, which is why I moved to Atlanta in 1990 and landed in insurance. Again, I tried to get out of insurance 3 times. The 4th time was the time where I actually did exit as a full-timer in the insurance. But no, I did not aspire. There's only one person I know on the planet that actually got into the insurance field on purpose. She actually opened an agency on purpose. And I'm like, wait, what? No, I was born into it. You had a choice? Wait, and you went. But anyway, I love it. The insurance business is a great business. It's a great business.
Well, I've often thought, since Linda and I have been together about 5.5 years, and I've often thought, man, what the hell was I thinking in my 20s? I should have gotten in the insurance business, because the income is just so much more consistent. Fluid, but consistent. To answer your question, Angelo, no, I did not. I did not even aspire to be in business at all.
I always wanted to be a business.
I'm sorry, was I interrupting you?
We see who's the business owner.
I was okay. Now I totally forgot my train of thought.
That you weren't going.
This happens a lot, by the way. And we have this thing where I kick her under the table, or in that case, I kind of hit her in the back with the wrist of my hand, so we could kind of coordinate who was speaking.
I rarely get a word in edgewise, because if you go back, you did most of the talking in the intro, not me. The moment I actually drone on a little tiny bit, I get the nudge. So this is the trials and tribulations.
You forget to nudge me.
This is the trials and tribulations of living together.
You have to nudge me
together
more often.
Yeah.
No, I got into business completely bass backwards. I grew up aspiring to be a writer and a rock star.
Yes.
And in my late teens, early 20s, I had a band, and we came very close, perilously close, to signing a record contract. Sadly, our egos were much bigger than the Empire State Building and all of the island of Manhattan and most of the East Coast of the United States. And so we thought we were smarter than the record company people. And, oh, hell no, what? So we couldn't accept this. And it melted down not long after that. I got into business. Basically, I needed a day job. And I started working for a retail firm in New York City that sooner rather than later, I was promoted to manager, and then I was promoted to district manager, then I was promoted to regional manager. And I was drinking the Kool-Aid, and I started reading business books and, In Search of Excellence by Tom Peters, and learning about business, Dale Carnegie. And she just nudged me, by the way. I'm Batman.
Well, but I actually did aspire to be a business owner, because when I was 21, I think I was 21. No, I was probably 20. I was working for this woman in Hartsdale, New York. She owned an employee recruitment company called Snelling and Snelling, which I don't know if they're still around. But I was the receptionist, answered the phone, made the coffee and all that kind of fun, which is when I actually started drinking coffee. And she said something one day to me. She's like, well, when you have your own business, you're going to be a good business owner. She was I don't remember the exact words, but it was, when you own your own business. I'm like, I remember saying to myself, that's possible?
Wait, did I say I'm Batman? I'm not.
Anyway,
Linda's Batman.
So that was that moment that I remember, besides being the place where I started drinking coffee, which some days I regret, because I love coffee.
I love coffee.
It's needed. It's a great way to get the morning started, especially when you're tired and have to start early.
It makes everything
the positive aspect for me was in that early career I had in retail. I had a wonderful mentor, a fellow named Dave Panoff, who was the executive vice president of I worked in customer service, and that was the division. He was the executive VP of our division, and he taught me not only to how to be better at being a manager, but he inspired and taught me to treat my job as if it was my business.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I approached it. Sadly, the company didn't last, and I got the phone call that we were out of business during my birthday party. And she did not nudge me, but she did take a photo.
I did a snap, because we're going to promote the Ramblings. So.
Shortly thereafter,
I love it.
I got my start in the mortgage business because I wanted to buy a house. I had gone back to college to finish my degree and major in accounting and economics, because now I had this whole business aspect in my head, and started my mortgage career, 1989.
1980.
And I have here my calculator, Angela.
Oh my gosh,
This
you
is-
cannot.
Oh,
This is my Radio
That
Shack.
is like the BlackBerry of calculators.
yeah. My dad used to have one of those.
$1.50 in Radio Shack in 1989, and I have put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in their first house with this calculator.
Yeah. Math is
Wow.
fun.
So over the decades, you guys have, and you've said you've been together for like 5 years. So there's obviously been a lot of work going on, especially working together. And during this coronavirus time, we've almost been kind of living at work, if you will.
Yes.
What
That's a good way
has been your balance? What do you guys do outside of work to stay balanced? Are you guys exercise? What's your off time look like? If you
well-
guys even use all your off time.
Well, it doesn't seem like we have to consciously take off time, because we are always working in the business, on the business, thinking about it, and just trying to, we had to pivot in March, where it was a dizzying experience, because all of our loans went away because the banks had to pivot themselves to the disaster financing. But our office has 2 offices. So to as far as balance with each other, we go into separate offices sometimes. So we're not actually in the same room. And then at home, we kind of sometimes do that too. Like, okay, I'll see you later. And we go in.
It is not unusual, Angelo, that at home we communicate by text message or FaceTime.
Yes, in the same
in
house.
the house.
We don't even have a big house. It's not a big house.
Yeah, it's not a big house.
Really?
But
Yeah.
we work in separate areas. I have a home office.
He has a home office.
And,
I don't. I live in every part of the house, and as far as situating myself to work and just
we
whatever.
were working at home before the pandemic. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something for me personally. Or professionally rather, I've done it for many, 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 many years. I mean, I did my first mortgage loan on the internet in the year 2000. And I realized the power of the internet back then.
Yeah.
And I had to, over the years subsequent to that, had to have many, many arguments with owners and bosses and managers who wanted me to do all the traditional things that mortgage loan officers do, drive around, visit real estate offices, go to networking events. Well, meanwhile, I had much more success every time consistently that I did it by getting up early in the morning or working late at night on my laptop, on my computer, on the internet. And
well, so the thing too is, the good news is we actually like each other. So through COVID for the last 6 months, I think, it's been a make or break for some people, unfortunately, as far as you either know that you want to still be with your partner, whether it's life or business, or you don't. And we have been lucky to like each other. And I think it's gotten stronger for us personally and professionally. And, because we just, like, sometimes I'll go outside to answer your question about, like, do you exercise or whatever. I'll go outside in the yard. We have 2.5 acres that I have, that's been a pet project of mine for the past year, where it was neglected for decades by the previous owners because they were elderly. So for the past year, it's been where I go out and I'm just cleaning debris. There's nothing graceful about what I'm doing. There's nothing creative about what I'm doing. I'm just clearing vines and weeds and overgrowth for decades. So that has helped me. That's helped me as far as a balance.
we got some really amazing advice from a good friend of ours. Her name is Ann Saprasny. She's a former insurance industry executive. I met her originally through Linda, and Ann now does
Great sports minds.
Great sports minds. She coaches athletes
Mental performance.
on mental performance and mental preparedness for the athletics. They're already training their body and helps them focus on training their mind. But she and Linda have an accountability phone call every Friday morning.
Yeah, weekly accountability.
And some time ago, long before COVID, but and we moved to our house in 2016. So I'd say probably in the last year or so. Ann one day said to Linda, when you have that argument about leaving dishes in the sink, or making the bed or towels that are wet or whatever.
Yeah.
She goes,
Yeah.
you guys are pretty awesome together. Just remember that those arguments, they're roommate arguments.
Well, actually, I don't want to like bust your bubble, but that wasn't Anne. It was Gretchen Rubin and her sister on their podcast, Happier.
I'd prefer to give Anne Zaprasny the credit.
Oh no, we love Anne, and she has an amazing online course for athletes.
Batman doesn't always remember every detail.
No, I know, but it's true. It was roommate issues, so sometimes we just have to, with
That's
chores
right.
and tasks around the house. It's just like you pick your battles and like all right. So I didn't empty the kitchen basket and the sink basket or whatever. It's like, well, you didn't put bowls away. Who cares? Like it doesn't matter in the greater scheme of things with the other aspirations that we have with our business, for our business, and just kind of situating ourselves for this new chapter we're in. And the goals going forward. I mean, I'm in my mid-50s. He's gonna be on October 1st, milestone birthday, the big 6-0.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's like celebration, and he's healthy. He's
right. I wouldn't have known. I would have thought maybe, just hitting the big 5-0.
No,
love you, Angelo.
You're cute. You're cute. No, so we're trying to like do things so that we can have some more, to have time, like free time to enjoy. That's why we moved into our house, so we could feel like we're always on vacation. That's why
our house is, it's gorgeous. It's a home, and it really does. Every day it feels like you're on vacation.
Like you're in a country retreat.
And so, and we, to go again back to the kind of the question you had about balance to it, we live and breathe our business. And many new clients and prospects who reach out to us are often blown away by our responsiveness. It's 8:30 on a Sunday night that we get an email through our website, through curious@auroraconsulting.biz, and people are like, hey, I applied for an EIDL loan in May and I haven't heard anything. Could you give me some advice? And they get a phone call like 5 minutes later, like, wait, what? Yeah. It's Sunday night.
That actually did happen this past weekend, but then we'll, sleep in on Monday morning, a little later, because it's like, oh, we worked all weekend and the days get a little blurry. So
no weekends when you're an adult.
Right. Exactly. So the balance is just giving yourself the space and grace to, feel what you need to feel by way of your body and your, how you feel. And since we're older, it's like, moving a little slower. I'm not running sprint triathlons anymore. So it's like, I think I'll sleep in today because I worked all weekend. And you just got to give yourself permission for that without
I think a lot of people with COVID are struggling with this idea of work-life balance, working remote. Now, it's different when you have children in the house and those you have to integrate
and have a routine.
But if you are, an adult with no children and you're working from home, I personally, because I've been working from home for so many years, almost 2 decades, that, not mostly, but now it's all the time. But back, I've often worked a lot of hours from home and often worked 7 days a week and been responsive. So I don't understand that whole thing where people are rebelling it. To me, I'm like, wait a minute. I don't have to get into a car and fight traffic, and don't have to go to an office and deal with that ignorant coworker who is smoking in the background or vaping nowadays, whatever, and all that. And I get to live this to me, it's a complete life the way we live.
Well, I think too, the key is choosing where you are grateful for whatever is happening that is not impacting you in a negative way, that is inhibiting you in a way. So in other words, like for me, certain things and inconveniences that popped up because of COVID, it's like I was just grateful. Okay, well, I'm healthy. I'm used to working from home, so I'm gonna really just be grateful for that.
Yeah.
we were able to pivot and then make money in a different capacity. So I was grateful for that. So you just have to, for me, it's all about choosing how you can be grateful for the things that are working in your life. And then that just gives you a little bit of peace so that you can then manage the things that are a little bit more difficult emotionally.
We're very social too. I mean, before COVID, we are.
Yes, but I will
Yes,
say this. My introverted side, because I do self-proclaim that I'm an ambivert, which is I can be an extrovert and an introvert. My introverted side has been in heaven for the last 6 months. I'm like, oh, I can stay home? I'm good with that. Oh, I don't have to go out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner meetings? I'm good with that. So
great scheduling.
So it's sort of like, oh, okay. You mean my homebody brain can be, happy? Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed staying safe at home.
I think bottom line is both of us in our separate careers before we met, we were known for doing things outside the norm. We were not people who conformed to the way other people expected us to conduct business. Would we conform when necessary? Yeah, more often than we were happy with, we would, because you have a boss or a business partner or whatever, and you've got to kind of play the game.
Compromise.
Got to compromise. But ultimately, we both of us realized when we got together that we were much more successful professionally and much more satisfied personally when we were left alone in our separate careers to do things our way.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that's why I do what I do. It's because it's the ability and the freedom to just be on my own and make the decisions.
And I love your posts on LinkedIn when I love your video posts because you're so real and out there and sharing with, how you feel with certain experiences that you're navigating. And I just love how brave you are and courageous with.
And your energy is spectacular. Yeah. We knew that the first day we met you at the Microsoft store. Yeah. You were so ebullient and effervescent.
Yes. And you're trailblazing for yourself, a new frontier with, the entrepreneurial experience. And that's awesome. So applause to you.
Thank you. It's just try. I just try, I guess. Yeah. So before our time, I guess, runs out, I guess, what is Aurora Consulting, Trevor and Linda doing for the last quarter of the year? We've been, I guess, we can say, almost a full month of COVID. So we're almost doing the full year now. So what do you guys have planned for the rest of the year?
Let me start because I want to be concise.
You can do the whole thing as long as you remember what we're rolling out on October 15th.
Yes. Ooh. Well, we have a few different things that we have available for business owners. The first and foremost, October 15th, we're going to roll out the PPP forgiveness package that we have available for business owners who don't want to navigate that process themselves. So we're going to have a consultative package for PPP forgiveness.
Which will be a flat fee. And we do all the heavy lifting.
We do all the heavy lifting with regard to the application, the compiling documents necessary to report everything that belongs into the applications, discussing with the bankers and lenders, etc. So that is going to be that. We also have people who have not pivoted and for people who may want to prepare down the road for potential financing if they're experiencing some growth. Not every business is destitute. Then we have a consultation to help with the COVID impact statement that is required by lenders when you try to submit a financing package. So we help with getting your business plan in order or reviewing your business plan and enhancing it with what the lenders are looking for now because of COVID. And
that's under our other company, Bridge Street. Yes. Bridge Street Business Plans.
Yeah, we have two companies, Aurora Consulting, Bridge Street Business Plans. And I have an online course for that's dedicated for insurance brokers, but I have more non-insurance business owners who have enrolled. It's Instagram 101 for insurance brokers. And
it's incredible.
It's
really incredible.
Yeah, it's called Be Gramtastic, and you can find the essence of that course on social media for insurance.com.
So I had COVID over the summer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's
fortunately
fine.
a mild case. I didn't have to go to the
Yeah.
hospital, but it was, if that's mild, I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
We knew what the symptoms would be if he had to be hospitalized, and it didn't happen. So so then I felt very comfortable, and not to diminish the magnitude of such a thing with that, but it was very quiet in the house. They only got a lot of work done.
She dug in and she worked on this Instagram. It's called Be Gramtastic. And so once or twice or three times a day, Linda would kind of peek into the bedroom where I was tossing and turning, feverish and feeling absolutely horrible. Yeah. She would sometimes remember to ask me how I was doing, or if I needed anything. But mostly,
I got him food and beverage.
Yeah. But mostly, the peeking in the bedroom was to ask me if I could beta test the latest,
lesson,
2-minute lesson.
Yeah.
So I'd be there in bed with the laptop going, oh my God. And the production values are quite amazing.
Yeah. So I'm very proud of it. It's my first online course, not our last. We have 2 courses coming up. The next one is going to be rebuilding credit after bankruptcy. So that's going to be the next online course. We have an ebook on our site that people can access. It's I can't remember how many pages, if it's 12 pages or 16, I can't remember. But if you go to auroraconsulting.com, there'll be a pop-up box. .biz. Oh my gosh. I wish .com.
Wow.
I know, I wish .com.
More coffee for this girl.
Yeah. Anyway, if you go to auroraconsulting.biz, and there's a drop down and you can get the ebook there. Very proud of that's Trevor's first ebook. So Angelo, you know how you just have your hands in different things because you want to provide solutions to business owners, and now is so critical for business owners who need counsel and comfort and just help.
I'm gonna get a haircut.
Yes.
I'm with you on that. I'm getting a haircut too.
You don't need a haircut.
You look fantastic.
I need a haircut. I need hair touch ups and everything.
You want nice
I have just. I mean, almost.
It just flows.
My hair hasn't been this long since I was 17. So.
We're gonna do a before and after. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so yeah, if you go to auroraconsulting.biz, you can see some of our different services. We have financing services, but we have consultation services if people don't need financing per se, but they need to know what's essential.
Can they walk into a bank without us as a broker?
Yeah.
Like, as a business owner, they have the question, can you, so we review the financials. It's a flat fee consultation where we look at the financials, we run a credit report, a proper credit report, not those online nonsense that consumers get, a real credit report. And we look at the financials and we identify any challenges and positives in the documents and we give the business owner advice.
Yeah.
So you need us or you don't need us. And if you don't need us, you can walk into this bank that, you can do this, do that.
Right.
In a way, it's like a pre-qualification.
Well, it's so, we forgot about the most basic, since people can still apply for EIDL. We have
through December 21st.
We have that as that's been our main service for people who haven't applied yet, or they've applied and they've gotten declined. We have a reconsideration process that we can institute for people who don't want to do it themselves or they don't know how to navigate the SBA.
Some of the mistakes that we've seen business owners or their employees or managers, whatever, make in submitting their applications are legendary.
Yeah.
And having so far to date, we've successfully got funding for 32 businesses and $2.47 million in disaster financing between the EIDL loan and the PPP products, not counting around $50,000 in grants from the state of Connecticut we got for 2 restaurants. So we've done quite well with helping folks to survive this pandemic. And that, of course, has created a knowledge base for us that we apply when someone comes to us because they had a problem and their loan was declined. And we are asking the SBA to reconsider the application. And there's a bit of my mortgage banking experience in there too about getting loans.
Yeah, he's done 30 years of government loans, so this is sort of like right up his alley.
Right.
But also, I want to encourage, before we forget, if to subscribe to our YouTube channel, YouTube/Linda Ray, REY, and Trevor. That's our YouTube channel. We would love if you could subscribe if you feel there's any value delivered in our videos. We have 4 series on that YouTube channel. We have the WTF Wednesday live show that we do on Wednesdays. We have the Advancing with Financing. We have If Then Thursday and Finance Friday, all based on how business owners have to deal with certain aspects of their business. Oh, are you wrapping up? There's a chat.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. We're so happy for it. Yeah, unfortunately, yes, it will shut us off. So we just want to give I guess a real closeout. So we thank you guys, and we'll definitely have you guys back on the show because you guys have loved the energy and probably the best guest so far, almost.
Oh, you are too
That's
kind.
only because I'm wearing a Batman t-shirt.
And that's only because we're just living up to your name of ramblings. Blah, 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 blah,
Listen,
blah,
that's
blah,
why that's why it's named like that, because the people that match my energy, that's who it's for. So thank you guys so much for coming up here.
Thank you for having
Thanks,
us.
Angelo.
Take care. We'll see you soon.
Stay safe. Stay well.
Take care.
Ciao.
Before you go, Ramblers, if you enjoyed today's podcast, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and make sure you're following me across all platforms at Assistance HQ. Catch up on exclusive content and keep track of everything going on at OffSource. See you in October.